Imagine a world where the balance of power in the electric vehicle race suddenly shifts, not in Silicon Valley, not in Europe, but between Africa and China. Automobile High Voltage, a bold partnership, has just emerged, promising self-powered cars that could run without ever plugging into a charger. And while this breakthrough could liberate millions from fossil fuels, one man is reportedly furious: Elon Musk. Why? Because this deal could challenge everything Tesla has built over the past 2 decades. Stay tuned, because this isn't just another EV story. It's a global showdown that could redefine the future of transportation. For years, Elon Musk and Tesla have been seen as the pioneers of the electric revolution, pushing the limits of battery technology, fast charging, and sustainable energy. But while Tesla was busy building gigafactories, a new alliance was quietly forming on the other side of the globe. China, the world's largest EV producer, and Africa, a continent rich with untapped natural resources and radical innovations, have joined forces. Their goal? To roll out the next generation of self-sustaining electric cars, vehicles that could generate their own power using advanced renewable technologies. Unlike traditional EVs that rely heavily on charging stations, this new wave of African, Chinese cars is rumored to be powered by integrated solar nanotech, kinetic energy recapture, and breakthrough battery systems. Imagine driving across vast distances without worrying about charging stops, a self-powered vehicle that redefines independence. If successful, this tech wouldn't just disrupt the EV industry. It would challenge Tesla's very foundation, its supercharger network, its battery dominance, and its grip on the EV market. Elon Musk has always been vocal about competition, but this partnership hits differently. China already dominates EV manufacturing, and Africa brings bold inventors and access to vital minerals like lithium, cobalt, and rare earth elements. Together, they hold both the brains and the resources. If their alliance succeeds, Tesla may no longer be the face of the EV revolution. It could become just another competitor in a race it once led. This isn't only about cars. It's about geopolitics, economics, and energy independence. For Africa, it's a chance to step onto the global tech stage. For China, it's a strategy to cement its dominance over clean energy. And for the rest of the world, it's a wake-up call. The future of EVs might not be decided in California anymore. So here's the big question. Will this China-Africa partnership spark a new age of self-powered cars, or is it just hype? And if it succeeds, can Tesla survive the shockwave? What makes this partnership even more fascinating is that Africa isn't entering the EV race empty-handed. For years, independent inventors across the continent have been experimenting with radical clean energy concepts, ideas once dismissed as impossible. From self-charging prototypes in Zimbabwe to solar-integrated systems in Nigeria, Africa has been quietly building a reputation as a home of unconventional but groundbreaking energy solutions. Now, with China's industrial muscle behind them, these concepts may finally see global scale. China knows exactly what it's doing. Already the king of EV exports, Beijing's move to partner with Africa is more than just business. It's strategy. Africa provides both innovation and raw materials, while China provides manufacturing power and global distribution channels. Together, they're creating an EV ecosystem that bypasses traditional Western dependence on oil, gas, and, most dangerously for Tesla, charging infrastructure. If a car powers itself, then Elon Musk's sprawling supercharger empire could become obsolete overnight. For Tesla, this presents a nightmare scenario. The company has spent billions on battery R&D and building a global charging network. But if consumers are offered a cheaper, self-powered alternative, the appeal of Tesla's vehicles could collapse, especially in emerging markets where charging stations are scarce. And here's where it gets personal. Elon Musk has built his image not just as a businessman, but as the visionary of the EV revolution. A China-Africa breakthrough threatened that crown, and Musk knows it. This isn't just about Tesla, either. If self-powered EVs work, they could destabilize the global oil market, accelerate the decline of fossil fuels, and shift economic power toward nations leading in green tech. Europe may scramble to protect its automakers. The U.S. may double down on subsidies and policies to keep Tesla competitive. Africa could suddenly find itself at the center of the green energy map. The world isn't ready for what's coming, But the race has already begun. Whispers in tech circles suggest that this China-Africa alliance is built around a radical new kind of energy system. Unlike traditional lithium-ion batteries that Tesla relies on, these prototypes are said to combine graphene supercapacitors, solar nanocoatings, and kinetic recovery systems. What does that mean? Imagine every inch of your car, roof, body, even the windows, acting like a power sponge, constantly collecting energy from the sun in motion. Combine that with next-generation battery that charges in seconds and lasts decades, and suddenly the idea of plugging in feels like ancient history. And if this is real, Musk's worst fear isn't just competition, it's irrelevance. But there's another layer to this story: Africa's resources. Countries like the Democratic Republic of Congo hold over 70% of the world's cobalt, a key material for batteries. Zimbabwe and South Africa are rich in lithium, manganese, and nickel. For decades, these resources were exported cheaply to the West and Asia. Now, with China as a partner, Africa could finally control the value chain, not just supply it. That means factories in Africa, EV exports from Africa, and perhaps, for the first time, a chance to dominate a global industry. News of this partnership has already sent quiet ripples through global markets. European automakers are lobbying for emergency subsidies. U.S. lawmakers are questioning how America can compete if both China and Africa seize the green future. Meanwhile, Tesla investors are asking a hard question. If the world embraces self-powered EVs, what happens to a company built on selling batteries and charging networks? Here's where things get even more dramatic. Insiders claim Musk has already begun secret negotiations to secure new technology deals in South America and Southeast Asia, desperate to counterbalance China's growing dominance. But can one man, even Elon Musk, outpace a united front of Chinese manufacturing and African innovation? Or is Tesla about to face its biggest disruption yet? What's truly electrifying is how Africa's local inventors are stepping onto the global stage. Names once ignored in Western media are now being whispered about in boardrooms. Take, for instance, Maxwell Chikumbutso of Zimbabwe, who claimed to have developed a self-charging electric car years ago. His work was dismissed as impossible. But now, with China's backing, ideas like his no longer sound like science fiction. They sound like the future. China isn't just investing in materials. It's investing in minds, the radical thinkers who could crack the code to infinite clean mobility. And here's the chilling part. China isn't shouting about this deal. There's no flashy announcement, no big marketing campaign, just quiet moves behind closed doors. Massive research labs in Shenzhen and Guangzhou are reportedly working with African prototypes right now. And while Tesla tweets and makes headlines, China plays a long game, carefully building an empire of energy independence. Meanwhile, Tesla is facing its own set of problems. Rising competition from BYD and other Chinese giants. Declining profit margins as EV prices drop. Battery supply bottlenecks as global demand surges. Now add Africa, China's potential self-powered EV revolution, into the mix. Suddenly, Tesla's once unshakable empire looks vulnerable, very vulnerable. Industry insiders whisper about Elon Musk's biggest unspoken fear, not just losing market share, but losing the narrative. For years, Musk has been the face of innovation, the Iron Man of technology. But if Africa and China succeed, history might remember him not as a leader of the EV revolution, but as a man who was outpaced by an unlikely alliance. And in Musk's world, that might be worse than losing billions. As this China-Africa partnership grows, whispers in Washington and Brussels are turning into urgent conversations. Western leaders know what's at stake. If Africa and China control the future of self-powered mobility, then the West could lose its grip not just on cars, but on the global energy economy. Think about it. The oil giants, the gas pipelines, the trillion-dollar infrastructure built around fueling vehicles, gone. If cars generate their own power, energy independence is no longer a dream. It's a reality. And that reality won't be owned by the U.S. or Europe, but by an alliance they underestimated. For Africa, this is more than just a partnership. It's leverage. For decades, the continent was seen as a resource supplier, exporting raw materials at low prices while importing expensive finished products. But now, With China's factories and Africa's innovation, the tables are turning. Imagine African-built EVs rolling out of assembly plants in Nigeria, South Africa, and Kenya, not only supplying local markets, but shipping to Europe and Asia. Suddenly, Africa isn't just a raw material provider. It's a global manufacturer. And for once, Africa holds the cards. Inside Tesla and other Western automakers, boardrooms are buzzing. Investors are nervous. CEOs are asking the same question. Backhand index pointing right, what happens if self-powered cars actually work? If the answer is what many fear, the entire EV business model collapses. No charging stations, no battery swapping networks, no dependency on grid electricity. Cars that drive themselves, literally power by themselves. For legacy automakers, this is chaos. For Tesla, it's existential. Rumors suggest Elon Musk is not sitting still. Insiders claim Tesla has quietly accelerated work on wireless energy transfer and quantum battery research. Some even say Musk is exploring alliances with South American lithium nations to lock down the remaining resource chains before China and Africa take full control. But can one man, no matter how visionary, move faster than two continents working together? That's the question haunting the EV industry tonight. Behind closed doors, a new battle is raging. Not on the streets, but in the world of patents and intellectual property. China is quietly filing dozens of new energy storage patents linked to graphene, solar nanofilms, and hybrid capacitors. Meanwhile, African innovators are racing to protect their prototypes before they're swallowed up by multinational corporations. It's a race against time. Whoever controls the patents controls the future. And right now, Musk is watching with growing concern as Tesla's portfolio looks increasingly outdated compared to the avalanche of new filings. On the ground, African cities are transforming. Hubs like Nairobi, Lagos, and Johannesburg are no longer just financial centers. They're becoming tech capitals, where startups and researchers are testing mobility solutions that Silicon Valley once dismissed. In some regions, experimental solar grid highways are being tested, roads that can wirelessly charge vehicles as they move. Add self-powered EVs into the mix, and Africa could leapfrog the West's outdated infrastructure entirely. For Elon Musk, who spent billions building Tesla's charging empire, this leapfrog is nothing short of a nightmare. And here's where it gets even more shocking. Energy companies are beginning to panic. Oil producers see their dominance slipping, but even utility companies are worried. If cars power themselves, demand for electricity grids could collapse. Some analysts warn this isn't just an EV disruption. It's an energy revolution, one that could rewrite how nations build economies, how governments maintain power, and how corporations survive. And the West? It's caught completely off guard. Elon Musk now faces the greatest pressure of his career. Tesla's future depends on staying ahead, but his competitors aren't just car companies anymore. They're entire nations, armed with resources, manpower, and political will. Every move Musk makes now is scrutinized. Investors demand answers. Governments watch closely. And the world waits to see. Will Musk double down on his vision, or will Tesla be forced into alliances just to survive? Because this isn't just about cars anymore. It's about who controls the future of energy itself. As the world holds its breath, the first prototypes from the China-Africa alliance are unveiled. They're not concept sketches, not lab experiments, real cars on real roads. The vehicles run for weeks without ever plugging in, powered by a blend of solar nanotech, graphene energy storage, and kinetic recapture systems. Engineers call them the first truly self-sustaining cars. The world watches in disbelief. Tesla's share prices tremble. Oil markets shudder. Energy companies scramble to rewrite their business models. Elon Musk doesn't stay silent. In a surprise announcement, he reveals Tesla's quantum battery project, claiming it will outpace anything the alliance can deliver. His message is clear. Tesla won't be left behind. But for the first time, Musk is no longer alone at the top of the mountain. The balance of power has shifted. The EV crown is no longer guaranteed. And so, a new chapter in human history begins. Africa rises as a global technology hub. China cements its role as the world's manufacturing superpower. Tesla fights to protect its legacy, forced to adapt or risk being remembered as a stepping stone in a much larger revolution. The age of the charging station fades into history. The age of self-powered vehicles has arrived. The story isn't over. It's only just beginning. Because the real battle is no longer about cars, but about who controls energy, innovation, and the future of our planet. So I'll leave you with this question. Backhand index pointing right, will Elon Musk's Tesla survive the storm? Or has the world just witnessed the birth of a new superpower alliance that will reshape history forever? The future is driving toward us faster than ever, and this time, it may not need a charging cable.